Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. I got an awesome interview lined up for you guys as always. I have a band called King Giant. They're on the show with us right now. They're on the other line. I'm going to bring them on here, get this interview up and going for you guys. Guys, how's it going?
Excellent.
Excellent, man.
Thank you,
Mom.
Thank you for having us on. Much appreciated.
Not a problem whatsoever. You guys have some phenomenal music that's out. I want to say thank you for taking time out for doing this because I know you guys are extremely busy. But what is new in King Giant?
Wow. We actually played out live for the first time in a while due to various circumstances, but it felt good to be back on stage again. Unfortunately, we weren't able to promote Dismal Hollow, our newest album, as much as we would have liked to have. Mm-hmm. So it felt good to get back on stage.
Where are you guys actually from?
The Northern Virginia, D.C. metro area.
And you said that are you guys having problems with Dismal Hollow right now? I mean, can you talk about it a little bit, or can you...
Oh no, we're not having problems with it per se. We weren't able to actually go out and play shows to promote it when the album was released.
Okay.
Busy getting surgeries and stuff.
I couldn't hear him. I could hear you.
We were busy getting surgeries and things like that and recovering from them.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So we just weren't able to hit the road like we wanted to for that album, but we did a couple weeks ago. We played our first show in a long time, and we've got some other dates booked in 2013, including Philadelphia in May and a Doom Festival in Milwaukee.
Is it Days of the Doomed or Day of the Doomed? Okay. Yeah, it's a doom metal show that's going to be up in Milwaukee, I believe the last weekend of June.
No, it's the 21st.
Third weekend of June?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to you on that?
Yeah, we'll get back in the
somewhere in there.
In June.
Okay.
Right.
Just in case anybody wants to travel to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They've got motorcycles there.
So it felt good to get back on stage and do your guys' things. Now, are you guys writing any new material right now, or what's going on with that?
Well, I mean, in preparing for the last show, that kind of got put on the back burner. But we definitely had some stuff we've been working on prior to that, and then as soon as we got this date rescheduled and everything, we kind of honed in and concentrated on that because it had been so long since we'd done a live show. I think we're a little, I wouldn't say nervous or anything else, but it was just we wanted to become familiar with it again and have it be as smooth as possible. And in the grand scheme of things, I think we were able to accomplish that, at least as far as everybody in the crowd was concerned.
Indeed, raving reviews.
Yeah, no, we are working on new stuff. We've got a few songs in the bag already, and we're hoping probably maybe by this time next year that we might have something out, or maybe by next spring, or possibly even earlier, depending on how things go. But
now, would you guys care to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am David. I'm the rhythm guitar player.
I'm Floyd. I'm the bass player.
Dave Hammerly, I'm the singer.
Brooks, drums.
T.I. lead guitar.
Awesome. How did you guys come together as King Giant? Did you all grow up together or anything like that, or how did you all come together?
Oh God, that's a long process right there.
Yeah, that's
the band itself has existed since, what was it, 2005?
2005.
Yeah, 2005. That was with a different singer, a guy named Bob Dodolo, who unfortunately passed away. And I kind of came into the mix because I had played in a band previously called the City Bleeds with both Brooks and Kowalski, and came in to kind of help out because they had a show scheduled with the when Bob passed away. There was a show that was already scheduled. They wanted to go ahead and do the show and do it as an instrumental set, and they asked me if I would come in and do one song with them as a tribute to Bob, and I jumped on board. I jumped at the chance because I knew these guys and I knew the music, and I also knew Bob. So after we did that one tune, a few days later, Brooks kind of came to me and said, "All right, we want to talk to you. Goddamn it, you want to do this thing or not?" And I was like, "Okay." And we got together and just kind of figured out some particulars as far as when we were going to be able to get together, because we've obviously all got very different schedules. And we kind of went from there. I mean, that's the shortest version of how it came about.
We also have known each other throughout the years, just being every one of us involved in the DC music scene. So when we did end up actually playing together as a whole, as King Giant, it felt very familiar.
Yeah, there's a definite.
Yeah, I mean, Kowalski and I have played for years, many years, over 15 years now. Painful years. But I think we're in a good place now. We're writing some killer music. The new stuff is really, really exciting. I'm super pumped about it. When we get some lyrics at some point, we will have some really, really great stuff for you coming up.
Well, Dismal Hollow is a great CD. Southern Darkness is a great CD. I hope I'm saying this right, and if I'm not saying it right again, I'm so sorry. Appomattox, is that right or wrong again?
Appomattox.
Yeah,
Appomattox. I think I got it right that time.
Appomattox, Virginia.
Because I always screw something up. Give me time, I will do it. But that was a really good song, and the whole CD from Dismal Hollow was really good. Southern Darkness, with Solace and 13 to 1, really great tracks, man. I mean, there's not a bad song on both of these CDs, honestly. Like I said, I've been playing them a lot here. I've got hooked on them. What would you guys say, when you guys are on tour, what do you guys mostly like to play as your set list, or do you even go with the set list?
Oh, no, we definitely go with the set list. Because we have to rehearse it ahead of time.
Well, I know
but honestly, you know what I mean? Simply because of the fact that we haven't been able to play out much for the Dismal Hollow songs, we do end up liking to play those. But, at the same time, we get worried if, people haven't seen us in so long that they want to hear songs from Southern Darkness that, we try to mix it up, but right now we're trying to concentrate on playing more stuff from Dismal.
I mean, I think we've always played a pretty decent mix. I mean, since we released Dismal Hollow, we've always played a pretty decent mix of both albums. I mean, this last gig, we ended up tossing in, we tossed in an old song called Seasons of Suffering, which was actually written by the band when Bob was still in the band. And
which is going to end up on a new album.
Right. And it was a song that we felt the need, I think, both emotionally and musically to resurrect it, because it's just an awesome piece of music, and lyrically it
was also Bob's last song that he ever wrote lyrics for, so there's definitely it means something to us just because of that. But end of the day, it's a really good song. So Brooks wants to say something.
Getting back to Southern Darkness, we have such a great core group of fans, at least especially here locally, that they want to hear that stuff too. So it's really we're trying to plan it out so that we have the ability to showcase what's new and what's old at the same time, and keep everybody happy. So Seasons, getting back to Seasons, Seasons is such a power number, and it has so much behind it in all of our heads, that it just comes across with some really great strength. Good track, excellent track.
The name of that song is Seasons of Suffering, which hopefully will end up on the new album.
What would you say, or what would you think Bob would say to you guys right now in your writing process?
Slow it down.
Yeah, he wouldn't be happy with the speed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
right.
I don't know.
I'd be happy that he could understand some of the lyrics either.
if you have had a chance to hear our EP, it's called the Identity EP. That has Bob singing on it, and that might give you a better idea of where the band was initially. It was a lot slower, a lot more repetitive, very much in the vein of like an I Hate God meets Black Sabbath kind of thing. So I'm sure he's tickled pink that we're still playing, because that's all he ever wanted to do. But yeah, I can easily hear him saying slow it down.
Especially me. Especially me. Bob would absolutely be very proud of where we're at, and if he wasn't in the band, he would be standing in the front row, completely cheering us on. He was a tremendous individual.
That's awesome. That's cool that he still plays a big role, even after his passing. I really commend you guys for that, because a lot of people they won't put out stuff like that. I mean, I don't see the reason why not. I mean, it's there. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Keep the memory alive and keep moving forward with it.
Well, the one thing I can say about King Giant is, we don't have that infighting. We don't have the egos with each other. We have none of your typical sort of, band drama that I'm talking money, everything. We are a solid group across the board, and it's a situation where we all know and love and respect each other. It's really good. Yeah. Where you don't have that with a lot of bands, once somebody leaves the band, there's all this, social media fighting and, all kinds of drama BS that totally doesn't need to be in music.
Exactly.
I mean, we've all known each other for so long, in some capacity or another. Some just as friends, and others that play music together. But it seems like, and Bob was a part of that too. I mean, we all had known Bob for a long time. I mean, Jesus, yep. I'd probably known Bob longer than anybody in the band, and I wasn't in the band at that time, because he and I worked together. So it's one of those things that you can't. I don't think that we can actually get through a set or a practice, in all honesty, without it having something to do with him.
It's interesting how Brooks just touched on the fact that it's such an easy band to be in, and yet this band has been through so much turmoil that I don't think most bands out there could have survived this kind of stuff if they didn't have the camaraderie. I mean, we've gone through suicide, drug abuse, cancer, broken bones. God, what else have we been? I mean, there's just been so many. So yeah, I mean, it's just been, and initially this whole band came together. We all basically came out of musical retirement just to play, just to have fun. Which we are doing, but it's just funny how like I've never been through this kind of turmoil that in any other band before, and yet it was so much harder to be in any other band before. So
and part of that probably comes with some maturity too. But I mean, I know that I'm a different person than I have been in the past, and I think that definitely helps, the fact that we're all a little bit older. And,
that's definitely true. Yeah.
And, we have the ability to
step back.
Yeah, step back and compromise, and listen to other people with a different ear than you do when, say, you're 22 and
it's a little different now that we're 28.
well, you guys are like family, pretty much, so.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no question.
Absolutely.
You don't want to fight King Giant. That's a bad idea.
Another thing I was going to tell you guys is listen to your music. It just flows. I mean, I can't express how much the music, the bass, the guitar, vocals, everything, it just fits. It just flows. It's like you're eating a awesome candy cane or something,
Well, it all begins with the drums, doesn't it, John?
Yeah.
Who's driving the bus?
And let's edit that.
The idea of the one thing that I've noticed since I since I joined this band was the one thing that was always tremendously important, and I mean important to everybody in the band, was the process of songwriting and writing songs that had good structure, and that translates into the studio. You go into the studio, if you've got great songs, then you want the instrumentation, you want the guitars, you want the drums and everything to reflect that. And so we take a lot of care in getting the right sounds and also just in crafting the songs in the first place. I think there's a lot of bands that, I mean, I don't know, most of the stuff I hear nowadays, it's riffs. Everybody writes riffs and kind of seems to throw them together. And that, we write stuff like we grew up listening to. I mean, you grew up listening to stuff like Black Sabbath and AC/DC and stuff. They were great songs. And I think I know that's something I always hear David mention. Is whenever he talks about a piece of music, whether it's ours or not, he talks about what it sounds like as a song, like as a structure. And so that's always been pretty important to us to make, be able to write a piece of music that you can then put a story to. So it's got peaks and valleys and everything else. So that's, I mean, it's a fun process.
But you're right, though. You can actually tell the music, the guitars now compared to, like you said, when Black Sabbath was out, when AC/DC and Dio, stuff like that. I mean, it's just not heartfelt guitar playing. It's not. I don't know. It doesn't have an oomph to it, as I should say.
Balls.
Yeah, there you go. Like the drum, bum, 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 bum.
I mean, it's probably so. There's a lot of stuff out there so over-processed and everything else. This is,
That's the Kowalski punch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to kind of elaborate on this, because there's obviously music that's much heavier than us, and faster and more extreme and all that kind of stuff. And this just reminded me of something. I was driving the other day, and Slipknot came on the radio, and. No, I mean, they're a good band and everything. They're not necessarily my cup of tea. There's some stuff of theirs that I like, but there was this one song that came on. Honestly, I can't remember what the title of it was, but one thing that struck me about it was the guitars were so atonal and so rhythmical that it was almost like the guitars became a percussive instrument as opposed to being, a melodic instrument. And it was, that's just kind of the thing where everyone has their likes and dislikes, and I like to go the other way, where I grew up listening to early Metallica, early, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, where we heard, great melodies, twin melodies from the guitars and all that kind of stuff. So I think or at least speaking for myself, I tend to want to write that way when, and that's, I mean, Appomattox is born out of listening to like Maiden.
Another question I was going to ask you guys is: does everybody contribute to writing the songs, or how do you guys do it?
It's different song by song, but I mean, yeah, for the most part, I mean, maybe not everyone might not necessarily contribute to the actual like riff or the lick or the initial melody or something. But in terms of once it's introduced and we have the song structure, everyone has input. I mean, because again, it's a song by song basis, but everyone has input, and that's the best way to write.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a song by song thing, because some of us will come up with little parts, and others will hear that part and elaborate on that, and all of a sudden it just, we look at the total arrangement and decide which direction it's going to go.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, too, guys, is the scene in your area. Do you guys have a lot of fans that come out when you do get the chance to play? Get a lot of support from fans?
We get a good amount of support locally. I will say that I think for the most part, in this area, in the DC metropolitan area, the metal scene, it's there, and it's got some strength, but it's certainly underground. This tends to be a very interesting town when it comes to supporting bands, and especially heavier music. And it's always been that way. It's always been that way since we were kids and going to hardcore shows. The hardcore stuff was hip, and that was that's what everybody was into at that point, and that's what the city's known for. But there were a lot of metal bands that came out of this city, and those were the bands that probably got the least amount of attention. And I think looking back, they're also some of the most talented, and so it's an interesting scene in that regard. But I think that, I think we get a ton of support locally, and those people are loyal as can be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that the video for Appomattox wouldn't have gotten made if it weren't for the people that come out to our shows, because they were the ones that donated through the Kickstarter campaign and made that whole thing possible. There were some really, really, really wonderful folks that got involved in that whole thing, from the guys that were making the video to the folks that were doing the makeup for it. And these are all people that will look out from the stage if there wasn't so much goddamn smoke, and we would actually be able to see these people in the audience when we play. So they're fans, they're friends, and supporters.
Dave's referring to a smoke machine mishap that we had during the last show, where
Smoke machine mishap sounds like something that's fun.
Smoke machine mishap that lasted.
it was
Went
actually
running over there.
Yeah.
No.
it was very Spinal Tap-ish
Keep
actually.
the little man away from.
Hello, Cleveland.
Yeah, it was.
We absolutely needed corpse paint. That would have been the greatest.
It was pretty bad.
Some alien space pies on eBay. So
What do you
Funkadelic did it.
What do you guys want to say right now to your fans that are listening to this interview? That's put their heart and soul in to come out and support you guys. What do you want to say to those people?
Well, I'll start. It's one of the biggest thrills, right? As somebody that's an artist or a musician that gets to see, virtually the same people all the time, sharing your video on Facebook, writing the cool things, bringing new people to your shows. And, it's very special, right? Because our core group has been around since the grassroots, when we were playing like Strangeland Records and things like that. It's a really, really great thing. And, I don't think we could appreciate them any more than we do, honestly.
It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate compliment to have people stand in front of a stage. First of all, show up and pay money to stand in front of that stage after they've already bought your album, they bought your T-shirts, freaking bumper sticker, whatever the hell, and then to have them walk in the room and sit there reciting lyrics and and cheering you on. It's the ultimate compliment. It lets you know that everything that you've been doing as you're sitting around writing music, going into the studio and everything else, that it has, that's the result you're going for. That's the result you're going for from the get-go. You want people to enjoy it. You know that you enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
but you want other people to be able to understand where you're coming from, and that's how you're expressing yourself. And so it's a wonderful compliment when people show up and support that, and over again. Yeah. Like Brooks said, from the get-go, people are like, so when are you putting out another album? Well, okay, we just released the other one, whatever, a week ago. Let me, give us a little time here. But
Take 5, Chief.
Yeah, exactly.
My bad.
But people want to hear more because they obviously enjoy it and they believe in us. They believe in what we're doing.
Well, you got to think, right? To me, it comes across in the album as well. We're really doing it for ourselves for one, but absolutely the people that have just cheered us on and supported us so well over a good amount of time that it's just you just want to keep putting out good stuff for them and for ourselves.
The first time you guys actually heard people at the show, your fans, singing the music, I want to know individually, how did that make you guys feel?
I couldn't believe they could actually read the lyric sheet because it's so damn small.
Hey, it wasn't that small.
Well, I think what he's saying is there's so many lyrics you got to drop that size.
I didn't understand the lyrics anyway, so I didn't realize the crowd was singing them.
Honestly, for me, I felt weird because I've been playing music for so long in this city, and I'm not used to having a crowd, to be perfectly honest. I mean, playing heavier music in this area was, for the longest time, really an uphill battle. And I've got to say, it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better, but for a long time, it was, you're playing for the other bands,
Yep.
the bartender and the doorman. So so to actually be playing where people are coming and participating and stuff is great. I mean, it's I'm still getting used to it.
What can fans expect from a show?
A lot of smoke and corpse paint.
Incense. It's nothing fancy. We're a rock band. We just go up there and play. That's all it is. It's loud.
We try to keep the costume changes to a minimum.
It's heavy too. I mean, it's the songs are good live. I mean, they're as good as it is recorded. I would multiply that by a couple times live because it's intense.
Yeah, it's definitely got some energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, guys, each of you, what is your fondest, or actually, what's your favorite memory being with King Giant?
I would need that in advance, I think.
I would say, that's really tough to say. Just in the regard that we've had a lot of great moments and a lot of great successes together. And successes to us. I mean, we haven't yet boarded the jet to wherever for, the 400,000 person outdoor concert, but I'm sure that's coming next. But I don't know. I mean, the album release last year I thought was phenomenal. That was one of those shows that you walked away from and went. Actually, I'd have to say that for me, in all honesty, probably the moment was the first time we ever headlined the 930. Because we walked into that club and we got halfway through the set and there could have been two people in that room. It wouldn't have mattered. For some reason, everything gelled at a moment and we owned that joker. You couldn't have walked through the door and not gotten smacked in the face by us. I mean, it was just this phenomenal feeling of togetherness, musically, emotionally, everything came together like in that one moment that you walked off the stage and it felt, you felt like you scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. It was just like you wanted to high five and run off into the sunset. It was just a really, really together moment.
Go ahead.
I have three actually, because Floyd and I are primarily the only two founding members, but
I don't know why you say it like that.
well, I'm not saying that to be mean, but like let me finish.
We're all newbies.
Okay. But my three moments, honestly, are when Kowalski, Hammerly, and T.I. we had our first practices because it's one of those moments that you don't get to experience very often when something just clicks immediately and you're just like, wow. You got five guys trying to paint a painting, right? And when you add the right artist, it just gets better and better. So, you know, I for the most part remember the majority of those nights, but I remember the feeling more than I remember the night itself. It was just, you know, just a really, really amazing sort of feeling. I wasn't being mean on the family thing, by the way. I really wasn't. I didn't mean it that way. I'm just saying, like, I mean, you know, Kowalski joined a little bit later, and then you two guys joined
It's funny
later
because
than that.
I wouldn't necessarily have thought of that, but when you mention that, again, it's one of those things that, like, there's so many different moments that I remember with this group of people, and you're 100% right. I mean, like, the first time that T.I. came in and played, and we were all kind of looking around like, okay, you know, there was a feeling that just, it all made sense. It all seemed like, you know, it was falling into place. And
yeah, I mean, let's not forget, too, that we had played with some other guys as well, you know,
Right.
that we thought were, you know, obviously we're only going to invite, like, candidates that are for real. So, you know, no takeaway from those guys because they were cool. But, you know, I mean, T.I. came in the building and, you know, we knew we had what we wanted. I mean, it's just the way it was. It's a really, that's a cool thing.
Guys, how can people reach out to you and say, we love your music and we want to, you know, get your CDs? How can they do that?
I like to start with a handshake.
$5 and a self-addressed.
KingGiant.com is one way to do it. We do have our own web store on there if they were interested in getting the CD, but the CDs and vinyl, I want to say vinyl too, is available both through us and also pretty much everywhere online where you can buy music. So that would be one way to do it.
Cool. Now, you guys have Facebook, too, where they can get you guys there. And Twitter, do you have Twitter, too?
We do. Facebook King Giant Band is our Facebook name, and Twitter is King Giant Rocks. But I'm sure any keyword search would get us, get you right. Oh, there's links off of our website, KingGiant.com, so they can just go there and click on our YouTube channel, click on the Facebook, click on Twitter, Reverb Nation, any of those. MySpace, if anyone's still using it, but I'd recommend not going there because we don't update it.
Now,
Please stop by and say hello.
before I let you guys go, I just want to say, as before, I really like your music. I support you guys 100%. So anything you guys have out, you want me to play on the air or update on the air, email me, message me, do whatever. I will do it for you guys.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, really, John. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, I just want to say that we're in the process of, like I said before, writing new music, but it's very possible that we might squeeze out another video for a song off of Dismal Hollow in the meantime while we are working on the new album. So hopefully, something to look forward to seeing. But in the meantime, if you guys haven't seen any of our previous videos, please go to YouTube and check them out. We have a nice one for 13 to 1. And also for Solace. So check it out if you can.
Guys, before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Just say this is King Giant, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Oh, Brooks, you're the announcer. You do it.
Was it BODS Mayhem Hour?
BODS, BODS Mayhem Hour, BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey, this is Brooks from King Giant, and you're listening to BODS something hour.
Mayhem Hour. Do it again. Take 2.
Good try, Ron.
Do I?
He was just testing his microphone.
Check.
Brooks is a little drunk right now.
BODS Mayhem Hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Brooks from King Giant. I'm not doing it.
Come on. All right, Hammerly, you do it.
Hey, this is Dave Hammerly from King Giant, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Crank it up!
Woo!
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, John. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. Guys, I want to thank King Giant for being on the show this evening. I want to thank everybody who's in the chat room and everybody who's out on the internet listening to this interview on their iPod, iPad, Nook, phone, whatever that you guys listen to. Stick around. We have some more King Giant coming up and some more good stuff for you guys. So you only hear these interviews right here on Uber City Radio and BODS Mayhem Hour.